It was a water festival in my town, where everybody would splash water on each other because it would be very hot at that time of the year. I went to a foam party with my sister and a couple of my other friends. It was mind-blowing how everything was set up. I never imagined I would love it this much. I met all my old friends at the party, but one stood out. I looked at him and realized, oh, I know this guy. He had slid into my DMs before, but at that time, he wasn't as cute as he was now. There was an instant connection. He was also a sweet shy guy just like me. Even though there were so many drunk people around us, all we could see was each other. After that night, he somehow found a way to contact me, and we couldn't stop talking until he asked me out. The thing is, he lives in another town and only came to my town for that festival. He came back again just to go out with me. We went for a movie, and that was the day we fell in love. We had never fallen in love with anyone before, and that was our first time falling so deep for someone. I was so infatuated with him that I confused it with love. Infatuation isn't love, it's like idealizing the object, like something shiny you want to keep, and you're so infatuated with it that you can't see the downside to it. It's essential to recognize the differences between the two and not confuse one for the other. However, I didn't have anyone to tell me that, so that's exactly what happened to me. I couldn't see the red flags. He and I had a very deep connection like never before, but one day, I started to notice his odd behavior. He was acting different, talking different, treating me different. It's like I could see him changing from so in love to neutral, to not caring as much, to the point where I felt like he had become very cruel to me. I, on the other hand, had no clue what happened. I kept thinking I must have done something wrong, and because I had an anxious attachment style, my first instinct was to fix things. I have always been a fixer. I always believe that things can be fixed if we talk about it, work on it, and put in the effort. One day, I found out that he was having a full-blown relationship with someone else. I couldn't understand how he could do that to me after everything we shared. All I ever wanted was his love, affection, and attention. He abandoned me, and finally, he married the new girl. I was so heartbroken, and the only thing left to do was to move on. After 2 years, I was able to fully healed and I met someone new. He was a very nice guy, but again, there was something missing. I couldn't feel for him, even though I gaslit myself into thinking I did. I thought I should try, but that was my second mistake. Yes, I continued in the relationship because I wanted to prove it to myself that I can do this. One night, I got a call from my ex-boyfriend, telling me how much he missed me and how he wanted to get back. I was a little taken aback. What is going on here? I thought he was married. I was excited, not gonna lie, but confused. I thought about it over and over again, how he left me, how he made me look like a fool, how his friends would laugh at me, call me a psycho, and he would never once have my back. I was in love, and I was fighting for my love. I wasn't a psycho. I decided, no, I won't go back to someone like him. He doesn't deserve me, and I thought that would be the end of it. It wasn't. He showed up at my place, telling me he can't live without me, so I asked him about his wife, and he said she is dead. I was shocked because I had no idea how that happened and how come I didn't hear anything about it since we have the same circle of friends. The next day, I got a call from a woman asking me if I can meet her, and she has something to tell me urgently about my ex. I immediately said yes and met up with her at the coffee shop. Her face looked so familiar, like I know her from somewhere. She then told me her name, and yes, she was his wife, and she was alive. She told me how he locked her up in the basement and tortured her. It took her 6 months to escape and disappear. She told me to stay away from him because he is the psycho, and he can't live without torturing someone in his basement. She even said there were bones and multiple women whom he captured, tortured, and killed down there. I couldn't believe what I was hearing. It was like a scene from a horror movie. I felt a cold chill run down my spine as his wife recounted the horrors she had endured in that basement. I thanked her for sharing this terrifying truth with me and promised to stay away from him. She urged me not to underestimate his manipulative abilities and warned me that he might try to lure me back into his life. She had come forward because she felt a responsibility to protect others from falling victim to his sadistic tendencies. I decided to cut all ties with my ex-boyfriend, change my phone number, and inform the authorities about what I had learned. It was essential to ensure that he faced justice for his heinous crimes. Just when I thought this was it, I could hear a footstep, and it brought me back to reality. I found myself trapped in this dark, eerie basement, and I never managed to escape. I realized that I had merely imagined that meeting with his wife, wishing desperately that it had happened. It was a haunting thought, like a recurring nightmare. I wish someone had warned me about him earlier. Today, I could still have a bright future, just like you.